Hi kids, Reverend James here with Children's Time. Hope you had a good Halloween last night. Probably was a bit different than you're used to, but I still hope you're able to dress up and have fun somehow. If you have any pictures of your costumes or anything, please send them in. I'd love to see them. So, one of the reasons we celebrate Halloween on October the 31st and all the things that we do on Halloween, we dress up, we go door to door if we're able, maybe different this year, but is because November 1st is a very special day. It's All Saints' Day. Now, who are saints? Well, the simplest way to put it is I think saints are people who have lived their lives in a way to make this world a better place for others. They've lived lives of service, they've lived lives of peace, of teaching, of helping people. Now, normally when we think of saints, we think of big names, sort of famous people that we all know. Saint Peter, one of the disciples of Jesus. Saint Francis of Assisi, who was lived around 1200 AD and was known for his love of all things, especially animals, and bringing change to the church that was so needed. Think of people like St. Augustine, who was a great teacher and taught a lot about the faith. There's also Canadian saints too, like St. Marguerite Douville, who was from Montreal, and she founded a religious order called the Grey Nuns. And the Grey Nuns eventually went on to build many hospitals in Western Canada, including St. Boniface in Winnipeg, where back in the day there was no healthcare system like there is now, so many poor people depended on the Grey Nuns for help when they were sick. So those are some of the big name saints, but All Saints' Day is a reminder that we're all saints. The people in our lives who have helped us, made our lives better, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, teachers that we've had, all these people are saints, that they help make the world a better place. And it's also a reminder, All Saints' Day is a reminder that we are called to be saints, that we're all called to try to live our lives in a way that help others, that makes this world a better place for everyone. One of the things that always amazes me when we celebrate All Saints is how we're all connected. That when you think about it, when you think about who you are and where you've come from, you're here because of your parents. Your mom gave birth to you, so you kind of owe your existence to your parents, and they in turn to their parents, so your grandparents. But also all the stuff that you have, the knowledge that you have, you owe to teachers in your lives, coaches. The love that you have, you think of your family and your friends. The fun you're able to have because people have invented games and made this world fun. Even the roads that we drive on were built by other people, and we can go places and do things. All Saints' Day is a reminder of how we're all connected with each other and how much we can influence each other's lives for the worse, but hopefully for the better. And that's a call that we have, is the influence that we have in each other's lives. Jesus wants us to try to make the world a better place and help other people. One of the ways that I personally remember my own mom, who passed away a year ago now, was some of the gifts that she gave me, particularly the things that she made me. She liked to sew and she liked to knit. And she knit me an Afghan, which is a special blanket that I use. And it always reminds me of her and my connection with her. And I'm able to live and laugh and love and be the person I am now, and I owe a lot of that to her and her love for me. And even though she's gone to heaven, I still have this connection with her. The love that we share keeps us connected. So I wanted to share with you a story called The Keeping Quilt. And it kind of captures how in a quilt for this young woman, she maintained all these connections, or it reminded her of all the connections that she had with her ancestors, her mom, her grandparents, her great-grandparents, and how the life that she was able to live was connected and she owed to the people who came before her. So I'd like to share that with you now, the book called The Keeping Quilt.
When my great-grandma Anna came to America, she wore the same thick overcoat and big boots she had worn for farm work. But her family weren't dirt farmers anymore. In New York City, her father's work was hauling things on a wagon, and the rest of the family made artificial flowers all day. Everyone was in a hurry, and it was so crowded, not like in back home Russia. But all the same, it was their home, and most of the neighbors were just like them. When Anna went to school, English sounded to her like pebbles dropping into shallow water. Shh, shh, shh. In 6 months, she was speaking English. Her parents almost never learned, so she spoke English for them too. The only things she had left of back home Russia were her dress and the babushka she liked to throw up into the air when she was dancing. And her dress was getting too small. After her mother had sewn her a new one, she took her old dress and babushka. Then from a basket of old clothes she took Uncle Vladimir's shirt, Aunt Havela's nightdress, and an apron of Aunt Natasha's. "We will make a quilt to help us always remember home," Anna's mother said. "It will be like having the family in back home Russia dance around us at night." And so it was. Anna's mother invited all the neighborhood ladies. They cut out animals and flowers from the scraps of clothing. Anna kept the needles threaded and handed them to the ladies as they needed them. The border of the quilt was made of Anna's babushka. On Friday nights, Anna's mother would say the prayers that started the Sabbath. The family ate challah and chicken soup. The quilt was the tablecloth. Anna grew up and fell in love with great-grandpa Sasha. To show he wanted to be her husband, he gave Anna a gold coin, a dried flower, and a piece of rock salt, all tied into a linen handkerchief. The gold was for wealth, the flower for love, and the salt so their lives would have flavor. She accepted the hanky. They were engaged. Under the wedding chuppah, Anna and Sasha promised each other love and understanding. After the wedding, the men and women celebrated separately. When my grandma Carla was born, Anna wrapped her daughter in the quilt to welcome her warmly into the world. Carla was given a gift of gold, flour, salt, and bread. Gold so she would never know poverty, a flower so she would always know love, salt so her life would always have flavor, and bread so that she would never know hunger. Carla learned to keep the Sabbath and to cook and clean and do washing. "Married you'll be someday," Anna told Carla, and... Again the quilt became a wedding chuppah, this time for Carla's wedding to Grandpa George. Men and women celebrated together, but they still did not dance together. In Carla's wedding bouquet was a gold coin, bread, and salt. Carla and George moved to a farm in Michigan, and great-grandma Anna came to live with them. The quilt once again wrapped a new little girl, Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen called Anna Lady Grandma. She had grown very old and was sick a lot of the time. The quilt kept her legs warm. On Anna's 98th birthday, the cake was a kulich, a rich cake with raisins and candied fruit in it. When great-grandma Anna died, prayers were said to lift her soul to heaven. My mother, Mary Ellen, was now grown up. When Mary Ellen left home, she took the quilt with her. When she became a bride, the quilt became her huppah. For the first time, friends who were not Jews came to the wedding. My mother wore a suit, but in her bouquet were gold, bread, and salt. The quilt welcomed me, Patricia, into the world. And it was the tablecloth for my first birthday party. At night, I would trace my fingers around the edges of each animal on the quilt before I went to sleep. I told my mother stories about the animals on the quilt. She told me whose sleeve had made the horse, whose apron had made the chicken, whose dress had made the flowers, and whose babushka went around the edge of the quilt. The quilt was a pretend cape when I was in the bull ring, or sometimes a tent in the steaming Amazon jungle. At my wedding to Enzo Mario, men and women danced together. In my bouquet were gold, bread, and salt, and a sprinkle of wine, so I would always know laughter. 20 years ago, I held Tracy Denise in the quilt for the first time. Someday she too will leave home, and she will take the quilt with her.
So from this story, I'd like you to take from it is to think of the people that have made the world a better place in your life. Those saints who have come before you and helped you to learn and grow. So think about them and know that we're still connected with them, even if they've passed on and gone to heaven. Thinking of great-grandparents and our ancestors. So we still have those connections. And the second thing I want you to think of is how you're connected to all the people in your community, your school, your family, throughout the world, and the things that you can do to help make the world a better place. Okay, take care everyone. Happy All Saints Day. And by the way, I just wanted to say, if you have any questions that you want to ask me, you'd like me to answer here on Children's Time, or you have any suggestions of things you'd like to see, let me know, okay? God bless you. Bye.